Hello, babies.
Celtics beat the Heat. I normally don't have headphones. I normally have this coming out of a speaker, and I don't like it. I can't really hear myself. Anyway, I'm all off. It's a little delayed. Just letting you know. Just what I'm playing through right now.
It's the Mormon internet, man.
I like that you still keep saying Mormon, even though you're wrong. The Celtics win the game 100-96 over the Heat.
Limit the internet after noontime.
That's true, and they don't serve alcohol over, I think, 6%, 5.5%.
What?
Yeah, isn't Salt Lake City a dry city too?
I don't think it's dry. I think that's what I'm thinking of. I think Salt Lake City does not serve alcohol over 5%.
And there's some
or Sundays.
Yeah. By the way, I'm not there, so keep going, Ray. No, we should have the geography be, because you know what? If I were to ever tell you where I was, you'd say, "Oh yeah," and you've just had it confused. You've just confused the two states. Celtics win 100-96 over the Heat. Game 7 in Miami. I know that a lot of the narrative and a lot of the talk here wants to go to that final 3 minutes. Obviously, that's where the game was won, almost lost. But I refuse to talk because that's just going to go into a negative diatribe about this team. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it right now. They won. They're going to the finals. There's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot to look back on. So we'll get to that in a minute. Here's what I would like to start with. Like I said in the opening take, 77.7% of these Game 7s are won by the home team. Celtics defeated that trend. They've been doing it all season long. They've had an excellent road record all season long. Even when they sucked at the beginning of the year, they had an awesome road record. In the playoffs, they've won on the road consistently. Game 7 was bucking the trend for the NBA, but not for the Celtics. They've been doing this a long time, all year. Scott Foster also did not buck a trend. 12-0 are the Celtics this year with Scott Foster as a ref. So NBA, I told you this after the Game 6 loss. The NBA wants the Celtics and Warriors. Watch the Celtics get some favorable calls. And I don't think the reffing was that bad. I honestly don't think the Celtics got too many calls where you would say that it was rigged, but the numbers speak for themselves. Did you think that reffing was? I thought the reffing Game 6 was terrible.
6 was terrible. Yes.
The NBA came out in their last 2-minute thing, whatever they do, where they review the calls, the close calls. There was 6 total blown calls. 4 of them were against the Celtics, and they were all huge in those stretches with the Heat coming back to win that game. Game 7, there were 2 missed calls. There were 2 3-second calls on the Heat, a defensive and an offensive. So I don't know. I didn't think the roughing was that bad in Game 7. I think overall, as a product, the NBA is tough to watch because the refs, I think they implement themselves way too much into the game, and it's tough. But in terms of were they for one team or the other, I don't think Scott Foster had an issue had anything to do with Game 7.
The only thing I'd like to point out is the Strus. Was he in or is he out when he made that 3-pointer? That was the big controversy of Game 7. That's the only thing the refs didn't get right. And, was his foot on the bounds line or not? It looked like he was out. I'm a Celtics fan, so of course I'm going to say that. That's the only thing.
That's where I fucking hate replay. And that's why replay has taken a lot of this shit out of the game, right? So the naked eye, he's on the line. He's out.
Yeah.
But if you have to, and I'll go back to what Edelman in 16 or whatever, the punt return or whatever game it was where it went through his fingers or
yeah.
So I go back to that where you have to zoom in to see like a millimeter if his foot was on the line or off the line. That's where I lose it on replay. Naked eye says he was on the line, period. And I know as a Miami fan, you're pissed off and you're looking at it, but again, you have to zoom in to see if his fucking his heel is hovering over the line.
Yeah.
I would have been
sick of this
bullshit. If that was a Celtics, it wasn't even a replay. They just looked at it like when the game stoppage and took the points off like several possessions later.
Yeah,
that was crazy. And the Game 6 version of that was when they reviewed the Jaylen Brown offensive foul just to review it as the refs. Like no one asked for there was no challenge. They just reviewed the offensive foul.
Because they were trying to see if it was a flagrant because they thought he elbowed.
No, that was Game 7. I'm talking Game 6. Jaylen Brown drove and he got an offensive foul, and they called it blocking on the floor, but then they just decided to go look at it. And whoever the dumbass they have in the booth that always everybody that's in that position always sides with the refs on the court. It's a waste of time bringing those guys on the broadcast. They said, yeah, no, the NBA refs have the freedom to go look at plays like that. So it's that type of stuff that I agree with you, Bill. It's like, what's the point? What just review everything then? It's just annoying.
I would like to not review anything at all. Just let the refs do it on the court. Whatever you see, done.
I'm with you. Yeah, let's go back to getting angry at refs blowing calls and not looking because they're blowing calls anyway. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
What's the difference? Anyway, to bring it full circle, I don't think Game 7 really had any of that. Even the three from Strus was in the third quarter, right? So it wasn't that big of an impact in the game. Maybe should we look back at the Tim Donahue was at in his playbook? If you can take 3 points away from the team that you want to win, lose, then maybe do it at any point in the game.
Yeah,
just take your opportunities when they come. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of hearing about this though. When you're talking about a third quarter play, you lost by 4.
Yeah,
right. We're not talking about a fucking under 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and you're that. A way bigger call, but we're talking about something that happened in the third quarter. Can we fucking get over this? Can we be done with this shit? Enough of it.
There was enough ticky-tack calls throughout the rest of the game that it should.
Let's talk about flopping. Let's talk about fucking Kyle Lowry looking like a fucking fish flapping out of water.
I hate Kyle Lowry, and the ref should be.
He's been like this forever.
It's to the point of Bush League, man. You're like. Look, I get Marcus Smart has that reputation, and he's certainly earlier in his career was just as bad, but I think he's gotten better at it. Maybe he's just gotten better at executing the flop as opposed to actually doing it. I don't know, but watching Kyle Lowry, like 15 years in the league, still tossing his arms in the air and acting like a jackass, it's infuriating to watch.
Jimmy Butler did the same thing too. Every time he would go in the paint and go up, he would just fall backwards and they call a foul on whatever defensive player was guarding him. It was infuriating to watch. Like all the heat, that's what it was. Game 7 was flopping.
Yeah, and you kind of see where, like, I don't know if you guys agree, but I think Tatum kind of quit doing that for the most part throughout the playoffs. Like his flopping and flailing, they hit the ground more than anybody I've ever seen in my life. Every time they go to the lane, they're on the floor and they always create a 4-on-5 and going the other way if they miss. But they're not to that extent. They're not Kyle Lowry flopping out there literally at everything going on.
You know that he probably did do that, but know what he was up on throughout this playoffs? The bitching.
Tatum? Oh, I disagree with that too.
Ooh. There were so many times it was 4-on-5 because he was back there bitching at the refs and didn't want to come back.
I don't know, Bill. I think it was so much. I think Tatum has improved in that category. It's still not great. I think he's maybe average with the NBA, which everyone's complaining. But compared to in the regular season or even earlier in these playoffs, like he was egregious. First play of the game, hands in the air, yelling at the ref in his face. Now I just think I've seen him intentionally internalize it, shake his head, and walk away. I've seen him do it.
I thought it got better this series, and I'll tell you what was the Bucks series, game 5 or game 6, I don't remember. For a second quarter before he had all his foul trouble, I forget what game it was, but bad turnover. Looked at the ref, didn't get a call, and immediately went up and fucking just a stupid foul. You know, his first foul of the game was I don't remember, but
it was against the Bucks. It was a frustration foul, I think, in game 5 that they lost.
And then you saw he had foul trouble though. He was in basically 3 fouls at that point after on. So I mean, it's like I thought this series got better. I'd like to see a little bit more out of it, and that goes for the whole NBA in general. But him and Jaylen Brown take, I think, a little bit excessive when it comes to that. But again, you see, we want to consider them superstars. Every superstar in this league does this bitching and crying, except for maybe Steph Curry is probably the only guy I don't see like really crying. But I thought he improved greatly this series against the Heat, and it was just toughness on everybody's part in the Celtics. I mean, Miami just smacked him in the mouth for 7 games. You know, I mean, you had a right to kind of bitch and complain. I mean, there was a lot of calls going both ways, or not going both ways, I should say. And I thought this whole series did a good job of letting them play. I know early in the series, it was pretty gut wrenching to watch every couple seconds. Game 3, especially when the Celtics, game 4, you know, you're looking at games where they're up 20. The real series was 5, 6, and 7, you know, and I thought 5, 6, and 7, you let them play and get physical. And yeah, I mean, of course, at that point, you're probably a little pissed off and try to get the calls, but as far as him overly bitching, I don't think it was as bad this series as it was the first two. The first
Yeah.
two, I couldn't stand it. But I think as the games got tougher, I think he's kind of back that off a little bit. I think that's coming off the coach too. I think Adoka's been preaching it all year, and he's really laying into him in this playoffs.
Yeah, because
the
whole team has been that way. Outside of I think Grant Williams, who I think is the worst defender at this point, which is a little bit insulting. But no, I think you made a good point. The last with the refs and the fouls. Look, the Heat took the 2001 Patriots approach. Like they can't call foul on every single play. So just get out there and be physical and grab their arms and hack away and whack away. And we'll make them earn it at the stripe and, just get in their heads. And they did. They pushed them to 7 games when clearly
low scoring too.
Clearly the Celtics were the better team. You watched it game after game after game. And game 7 was a great microcosm of it. The Celtics would go up 10, go up 11, go up 13. The Heat would clamp down. And then they'd come back and bring it back. And Jimmy Butler had to be on his bullshit game 6 and game 7. And he was. 47 in game 6, 35 in game 7. If he had 39, they would have won. And that was the play of the game. But before we get to that, I got some box score stuff so I want to talk about because I think that's cool. And the key takeaways from the game, which we've already hit on a few of them. Jason Tatum, 46 minutes played in this game, 26 points, 9 of 21 shooting, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, ends up with the Larry Bird Eastern Conference trophy.
What's up, Eric?
And, hey, don't you know we're recording here?
Eric, we're recording, you dink.
Yeah,
Jesus.
He'll issue an apology. He'll send one via email, I think. Jimmy
Butler.
No, I did completely lose my
Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, 48 minutes,
show.
35 points, 13 for 24, 9 rebounds, 1 assist.
Thank you, Raymond. Those two, obviously, the best players on the team, best players on the court. The 46 minutes and 48 minutes played were the things I wanted to key on. You go right down this list that I gave you. Marcus Smart, 41 minutes. Kyle Lowry, 39 minutes. Jaylen Brown, 44 minutes. Dwight Bosch, 46. Al Horford, 44. This was why I thought the series was excellent. Their coaches let the stars play, and they played it out, and they let the talent kind of win out. You saw Jimmy Butler with 35 points, 9 rebounds. Marcus Smart, which we'll get back to, 24 points, 8 of 22, led the team in shot attempts, 3 of 10 from 3, but 9 rebounds and 5 assists outside of the shooting, had a good game. Jaylen Brown, 24 points. Dwight Bosch, 24 points. Al Horford, 14 gigantic rebounds. I just thought it was a great series. You look up and down the box score outside of games 3 and 4, Jimmy Butler disappeared, and or 4 and 5, whatever that was. And I just thought the stars showed up, and game 7 was no different. I thought the stars showed up, and every time each team needed a basket or a stop or a big play, it seemed like one of these 6 players was out there making it. Your guys' thoughts on the high-end talent of the game 7 and Celtics Heat?
Like Bill said, the first 4 games were a sleep fest. It's just blowout after blowout. But 5, 6, and 7 were legit. Like, holy shit, edge of your seat. You didn't know what was going to happen. Very competitive games. Going down to the wire, the last 2 minutes of the game was very entertaining. So yeah, the stars came out. The stars showed up, and it was a great series at the end. But the first 4, meh. NBA didn't get that right for that first 4 games.
Bill, are we okay to put superstar on Jason Tatum?
Yes, only because you got lucky and finished it out in the 3 minutes. Because if you lost that game 7 in the last 3 minutes, that superstar label, there's no budding, there's no nothing. It goes all the way back down to just good NBA player. But I mean, I think right there, I mean, you pulled it out. Again, I think you got lucky. You got outscored 13-2 in the final 3 minutes. And you go back to game 6, I think it was 12-2 or 14-2 again in game 6. I mean, that's a bad trend. You were the worst in the NBA in one possession games. In 2 minutes, we're 13-22 or 29th in the NBA. Sorry. So I mean,
yeah thank you. Not worst.
Sorry, second award.
The Knicks, I believe, were the worst. So.
But either way. So I mean, yeah, superstar. They balled out at me, but I don't like the fact that Jason Tatum didn't get a shot in the final 5 minutes of the game. For both game 6 and game 7, that's a huge problem. If you're a superstar in this league, you need to take over, especially in a game 6 when you have a chance to close it out at home. And I've said it. I think a couple people, I did not expect them, including our text exchange. I did not expect them to go down in Miami on the road in a game 7 and pull this game out. And especially the way they did it. I mean, again, you're up 13 with 3 minutes to go. You thought that game was over, but they need to get out of I'm playing to keep this lead. They lost the game against Brooklyn. not Brooklyn, sorry, the Bucks game 5 against the Bucks, which was a terrible, which you were up double digits that game late in the fourth. And again, you saw it again. Miami with 3 minutes left. You're just trying to, hey, we're going to the finals. And then you just let Miami go on 11-0 run. But yeah, superstar label, Jason Tatum. They balled out.
Yeah.
They got
Sorry to interrupt you. I just want to touch on this before we get to the last 3 minutes because it is the most important part. But in those last 3 minutes and in those last crunch times in game 6, you saw what the Heat did. So there's a couple things that this is why I have faith. And I did think the Celtics are going to win game 7 because they are now 6-0 in the playoffs after a loss. So keep that in mind. They have yet to lose back-to-back games in the playoffs.
Worst, so.
No, you should. And that's the way
Billy, you're negative. Billy, negative.
It was on our text chain. I kept getting texts from family and friends, as the Celtics started out hot in game 7, here we go. And no, I was
saying it all day.
Complete negativity game. You shed no positivity in this game until the last whistle blows. And I was deemed right on that because it literally took until the last whistle. And it was like Ghostbusters when all the negativity was. They had to get some happy thoughts in New York City. That's what we needed from the city of Boston for the Celtics to win, and I think we got it. But in that Jason Tatum superstar, look, I don't want to compare him to LeBron James. I don't, it's not fair to do those type of things. However, he's stacking up with some of these players. He's also playing in these crunch time situations like LeBron did early in his career, where he would make the right play, but everyone wanted him and needed him to take the shot because he's the best shot maker on the floor. He's 24 years old. I think it'll come. I don't know if it'll come in the finals, but I think within, before the next time they make the finals, Jason Tatum will learn how to handle a double team and not just pass to the right guy, but get a shot out of it because that's what you need. Honestly, Marcus Smart went 0 for 5. He was the only guy to take a shot in the final 3 minutes. Jason Tatum should have had a triple-double based on purely the assist blown by Marcus Smart. And that just can't happen. After Marcus misses 2 of those, Jason Tatum, you've seen him rise up over 2 guys and shoot the fucking ball. So he needs to look. He got crapped on the beginning of it early in his career for hogging the ball and shooting too much. Now we're shitting on him for passing too much. It is a LeBron thing there. He'll figure it out. I have faith he'll figure it out because he has so far everything else in his career.
Do you think he figures it out this series?
He better.
Well,
you're not beating Golden State if he doesn't.
I don't look Golden. We'll get to Golden State, but they have they were the Celtics and the Warriors were number 1 and 2 defense in the league this year. Their defensive efficiency is number 2 to the Celtics, but I don't think that they have the physicality or necessarily the personnel to do what the Heat or even the Bucks have done. They were a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. I think the Warriors will be less. So yeah, maybe he'll learn to rise up above those guys because he's taller and bigger and stronger than most of them. But no, I don't think it'll happen in the finals. I think it takes an off season to figure that shit out. Couple more key takeaways, and then we'll dive into the 3 minutes, and then the Warriors. Then we'll get to your Red Sox, Bill. Here's some other things I took away from it. The Celtics offense was pushed. You could tell every time they got the ball, they ran it over half court, which I love. That's the way they should play basketball all the time. Never mind against one of the top defenses in the league. And it seemed to work. Every time they did it, they punched out to a double-digit lead, and then the Heat made their comeback. Jimmy Butler cost Miami the series. Game 6 and Game 7, Game 1 and Game 2, he was Jimmy Butler. Those middle games where he disappeared and literally was just passing up open shots or airballing layups, dude.
Yeah, especially Game 5, that was atrocious.
Yeah,
fucking atrocious, dude. That was like him, Kyle Lowry, Matt. What was it? Strauss and Lowry when it combined, they were like minus
over
80.
21.
They were
minus over 28 in 2 games.
28.
Yeah, and they were a minus 84 combined.
Bad.
That is so bad. But yeah, it definitely was Butler. I don't know. I mean, he was playing hurt or what, his knee injury or whatever. But yeah, final shot. I mean, you could take into consideration if that costs him too. I mean, you're down 2 and you pull up with a whole lane in front of you, 18 seconds left of the game to shoot a 3. I don't necessarily hate that shot. I think he rushed it a little bit. As an outsider, you kind of look and say, hey, go to the basket. But at the time, go for the win. You're Jimmy Butler. You're having a great game. You just dropped 47 the night before. You're 35, 36 at that point. Just go for the game. And, it didn't work out their way. But, hindsight's 20/20. But you look at it and it's like, do you drive? You're going to probably get an and one. You're one of the best foul drawers in the league, especially going to the basket. So it's like, did it cost you there pulling up that 3? Yeah, might have. And that's saying something considering you had 3 shitty games in a row.
Right. Well, that's my bigger point. That shot, maybe it cost him game 7, but the 3 bad games in the middle of the series cost him more. He needed to show up. And obviously Kyle Lowry, who showed up again in 6 and 7 doing Kyle Lowry shit, he disappeared in the middle of that. But god damn it, I'm okay to reiterate, Ray, that we hate Kyle Lowry. First of all, he reminds me of you because he just kind of has that framework.
And cunty.
Yeah, you're muted still. But god damn it, is that a frustrating player to watch? God damn it, is that a frustrating player to watch?
He's fat. He's fat and cunty, just like me. And yes, that's why, like, all my friends, like you guys, would be like, I like Ray, but you can see why the outsiders hate me. Well, you guys, you can stand me. I'm sorry, you can stand me, just like my wife. You can stand me, but like the outsiders, just like, how the fuck you guys even stand this?
He's
guy?
like Marcus Smart for the Celtics, right? Everybody hates Marcus Smart around the league, and he's the same type player. But
I like my analogy better.
Yeah, cool. With less skill.
Did
you hear him after the game?
I hate all 3 of you.
This is a wasted season. Yeah, fuck you. It was fuck you, Kyle Lowry.
Fuck you, Kyle Lowry. I have lost a lot of respect for Kyle Lowry, and also people forget Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan underachieved in Toronto for years. It took them trading and getting Kawhi Leonard on a heater to win that Toronto, and he bolted out of there as soon as possible and hasn't played since. So Kyle Lowry,
Golden State got hurt. Durant was out, and Klay Thompson ruptured his Achilles.
Yeah, Kyle Lowry, if not for that 1 year and everything falling his way, would be considered one of the on the biggest loser list, which coming soon. Social Hour, biggest loser list.
We just have to confirm Bill's going to be here.
Can we do it today?
It's tough.
Bill, he's in Utah. No,
I'm not in Utah. I hate Kyle Lowry. I love Al Horford. 140 games played without a finals appearance. The number 1 overall. That's the number 1 in the NBA. Do not Google this, Bill. I see you. I see you fucking Google this.
I'm working.
Who's number 2? Who's number 2? Carmelo? I'll give you a hint. They were teammates.
I know who it is.
They're teammates.
He already looked it up.
I don't know.
He looked it up. Watch him. He's gonna go.
I think
it's.
I thought it was Steve Nash.
No, he's already doing it. Look, he's already.
Steve Nash went to the finals, didn't he?
No, so I thought it was Steve Nash, but I looked. It was Paul Millsap. Was number 2.
It is Paul Millsap.
Yeah, so I thought it was
Steve Nash. Look it up. Fuck
no
you.
shit.
I just said I did. I said I thought it was Steve Nash when I read the email, so I went and looked it up. Steve Nash and Joe Johnson went 120. So I thought they were up there, but yeah, Paul Millsap. I mean, those fucking
those Hawks teams, man.
Steve Smith?
Phoenix. What?
Wasn't Steve Smith?
Steve Smith won a fucking championship with the Spurs. Come on.
I am sitting down. I'm sitting down.
No, that was Joe Johnson, Paul Millsap, Al Horford. Who's the point guard on that team? They had a fucking point guard on that team. I'll go back.
Celtics had him last year. Jeff Teague.
Teague was on that team for a minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done, Bill.
Yeah. Very underachieving number 1.
Guess who gets a ring if the Celtics win a championship this year? ISO Joe Johnson.
Joe Johnson. And that Schroeder, the German.
Schroeder.
A couple other things. So we just shit on those guys, but Al Horford. Everyone's cool with Al Horford. Grandfather died. Came back, had himself a game 7, some massive rebounds, got the game-winning rebound. Just good to see a guy like that, finish his dreams. Hopefully he gets a ring.
Oh God, that'd be so good.
Robert Williams playing hurt. We've been giving this guy shit for years about not playing through pain and sitting out. He could barely move out there. Still impactful defensively. Still got some offensive lobs and some rebounds there. So hat tip to Rob Williams. We do a hat tip to old Time Lord there.
I've been the biggest Rob Williams fan on this show, so it's great.
Because you guys smoke as much weed together. That's why. Jesus.
And it's legal in the NBA now,
He's also becoming one of the biggest offenders with the ref. God,
Yeah.
That guy's always complaining.
Marcus Smart too. As much as we hate him, I mean, he could barely move out there with that ankle. He was gutting it out. I'm not missing any more games. Pretty much do whatever it takes to get on the court. I mean, those are your two best defensive players, first team and second team All NBA defense, and they're both grinding it out. So good to see. Good toughness.
You absolutely like to see it. And it's going through the whole team. Okay, let's drill in on the last things in those final 3 minutes because Bill, you've hit on it a couple times. We touched on it a little bit. Here's the biggest thing for me: I think Jason Tatum is making the right play, but it's going to the wrong guy, and they've done this all season long. And I don't know if it's a Smart problem. I don't know if it's an Ime problem. It's not a Tatum problem. That ball needs to get to Jaylen Brown. There's a reason you have 2 stars and 2 scorers on this team. Marcus Smart cannot lead the team in shot attempts. We've been through this. You lost 2 years ago to the same Heat team because of this reason, and you barely escaped. You barely escaped these playoffs with him doing the same shit, probably just because Tatum and Brown are that much better. So I don't know how you change that. I would still fucking trade this guy in the offseason. Show me the return. I'd still move him for this reason. 0 for 5 in the final 3 minutes with a 13-point lead blown, and you keep shooting Marcus Smart. Unacceptable.
How many of those were 3-pointers too?
3, I think.
Yeah.
He finally tried to drive, and then he got blocked in the lane. Jaylen Brown did have a shot attempt that was waved off because they called an offensive foul. So if you want to give him that, at least when Jaylen got the ball in those final 3 minutes, he drove hard to the line. You're in the bonus, you're up 13, you drive to the basket, and you get a foul and you go to the line. Marcus Smart just kept hucking threes, game 6 and 7. It's infuriating. It's infuriating. The ball needs to find your other superstar in Jaylen Brown in those situations when Tatum is doubled. And it's Smart and Ime's problem. They need to make that better. Or if you want to give a little bit of Jaylen Brown problem too, maybe he needs to speak up and say, get the fuck out of the way. I'll give you all 3, but someone needs to step up. And
I'm going to raise you one too. This is a Brad Stevens problem. This is going, and Danny Ainge before that. It's been going on for a while. You can't get a reliable outside shooter, right? So this is why you're relying on Marcus Smart to try to go 0 for 5 in the final 3 minutes when you're up 13, right? I think you need a better outside shooter, better bench shooter. It's a guy that you can put out there that can hit shots. I don't like the ball in Marcus Smart's hand, period. And you
Ever heard of Grant Curry?
Please give me a
look. Your last guys out there. Al Horford is a 3-point threat, I guess, and Derek White was hitting some shots. Even if Grant
White sucks,
but look, you're talking about your 4 and 5 positions there. Marcus Smart just needs to be a better shooter if he's going to be in that position. Like, go find me a point guard that can shoot. How about that? I'll give you that. But I don't think if you swap Al Horford out for a shooter, you're going to miss Al Horford's defense and rebounding more. You just need to get the ball to Jaylen. Just get the ball to Jaylen Brown. He shouldn't be sitting in the corner all of the fourth quarter watching Jason Tatum go one-on-one and then kick it out to Marcus Smart. That's just bad offense. Just bad offense, and it's a bad psychology when you're up 13, 3 minutes, and you're rolling the ball up the court, trying to waste time. That's playing not to lose as opposed to playing to win. We see it in sports all the time. It doesn't work. They got lucky. They got lucky in that game 7. Jimmy Butler didn't hit that shot because with 12 seconds left, if he hit it, Celtics are not scoring there. You lose, and you're getting crucified. You're getting crucified for the way that you handled the last 3 minutes of that game. I don't know. I don't know if Tatum will learn how to get a shot at a double teams in the finals. I don't think they'll learn from that in the finals either. Maybe next year, but I don't see that changing in the finals.
No, it's a stepping stone. Like, now you're finally there. You're going to get your doors blown in. That's another stepping stone. So when you do go back, you're ready.
Okay, nice segue, Ray. We'll see a quick, tiny break, and we'll see if the Celtics can handle the Warriors here. Be right back.